The given presentation aims to break down the function of organizing using the following contents of the lecture. Introduction to the concept, meaning and characteristics of organization, nature of organization, steps in the process of organizing, objectives of organizing, principles of organization, advantages of organization, formal and informal organization, forms of organization structure, line organization, and line and staff organization. We will try to screen out the mentioned syllabuses to emphasize the importance of organizing as a vital function of management. Introduction to the concept of organization. Organization is a backbone of management. Without efficient organization, no management can perform its function smoothly. Sound organization contributes greatly to the continuity and success of the enterprise. Once Andrew Carnegie, an American industrialist, said, "Take away our factories, take away our trade, our avenues of transportation, our money. Leave nothing but our organization, and in 4 years we shall have re-established ourselves." That shows the significance of managerial skills and organization. However, good organization structure does not by itself produce good performance. Just as good constitution does not guarantee great presidents or good laws a moral society, but a poor organization structure makes good performance impossible. No matter how good the individual may be, the right organizational structure is the necessary foundation. Without it, the best performance in all other areas of management will be ineffectual and frustrated. Meaning of organization. The term organization connotes different meanings to different people. Many writers have attempted to state the nature, characteristics, and principles of organization in their own way. For instance, to sociologists, organization means a study of the interactions of the people, classes, or the hierarchy of enterprise. To psychologists, organization means an attempt to explain, predict, and influence behavior of individuals in an enterprise. To top-level executive, it may mean the weaving together the functional components in the best possible combination so that an enterprise can achieve its goal. The word organization is also used widely to connote a group of people and the structure of relationship. Some important definitions of organization will be useful in understanding the essential meaning of organization. Collins and O'Donnell. Organization, it is a grouping of activities necessary to attain enterprise objectives and the assignment of each grouping to a manager with authority necessary to supervise it. Lewis A. Allen. The process, organization is the process of identifying and grouping the work to be performed, defining and delegating responsibility and authority, and establishing relationship for the purpose of enabling people to work more effectively together in accomplishing object. Joseph L. Massey. Organization is the structure and process by which a cooperative group of human beings allocates its task among its members, identifies relationship, and integrates its activities towards common objectives. From the above mentioned definitions, it is clear that organizing is the process of determining the total activities to achieve a given objective, grouping and assigning of activities to individuals, delegating them authority necessary to perform the activities assigned, and establishing authority relationship among different positions in the organization. So different writers give different meanings of organization. Analysis of the above mentioned definitions reveals the following features of the nature of organization, or meaning actually. It is group of individuals, may be large or small. The group in the organization works under the executive leadership. It is a machine or mechanism of management. It has some directing authority or power which controls the concerted efforts of the group. The division of labor, power, and responsibilities are deliberately planned. It implies a structure of duties and responsibilities. It is established for accomplishment of common objectives. It is a functional concept. It is a functional concept. The division of labor, power. So, some organization brings about the following advantages: facilitates attainment of the objectives of the enterprise, facilitate optimum use of resources and new technological development, facilitates growth and diversification, stimulates creativity and innovation, facilitate effective communication, encourage better relationship between the labor and the management, increase employee satisfaction and decrease employee turnover. Nature of organization. The term organization is used in two different senses. In the first sense, it is used to denote the process of organizing. In the second sense, it is used to denote the result of that process, namely the organizational structure. So the nature of organization can be viewed in two ways: organization as a process and organization as a structure or framework of leader of relationship. Organization as a process. As a process, organization is an executive function. It becomes a managerial function involving the following activities: determining activities necessary for the accomplishment of the objective of business, grouping of interrelated activities, assigning duties to persons with requisite competence, delegating authority and coordinating the efforts of different persons and groups. When we consider organization as a process, it becomes the function of every manager. Organizing is a continuous process and goes on throughout the lifetime of an enterprise. Whenever there is a change in the circumstances or material change in situation, new type of activities spring up. So there is a need for constant review and reassignment of duties. Right person have to be recruited and necessary training has to be imparted to enable them to be competent to handle the job. The process of organization involves dividing the work into rational way and interpreting the activities with work situation and personnel. It also represents humanistic view of the enterprise, since it's the people which are uppermost in the process of integration of activities. Continuous review and adjustment makes this dynamic as well. Nature of organization. Organization as structure or framework of relationships. As a structure, organization is a network of internal authority, responsibility, relationships. It is a framework of relationship of persons operating at various levels to accomplish common objectives. An organization structure is a systematic combination of people, functions, and physical facilities. It constitutes a formal structure with definite authority and clear responsibility. It has to be first designed for determining the channel of communication and follow of authority and responsibility. For this, analysis of different types has to be done. Peter Drucker suggests following three types of analysis: activities analysis, decision analysis, relation analysis. A hierarchy has to be built up. For example, a hierarchy of positions with clearly defined authority and responsibility. The accountability of each functionary has to be specified. Therefore, it has to be put into practice. In a way, organization can be called a system as well. The main emphasis here is on relationships or structure rather than on persons. The structure, once built, is not liable to change so soon. This concept of organization is thus a static one. It is also called classical concept. organization chart are prepared depicting the relationship of different persons. In an organizational structure, both formal and informal organization take shape. The former is a pair planned and one and defined by the executive action. The latter is a spontaneous formation being laid down by the common sentiments, interactions, and other interrelated attributes of the people in the organization. Both formal and informal organization thus have structure. Steps in the process of organizing. The managerial function of organizing may be called as a process of organizing. When the objectives have been set and policies framed, the necessary infrastructure of organization had to be built up. The concentration goes to activities and functions. These form the building blocks of the organizational structure. There are no such rules as to which we will lead to the best organizational structure. But the following steps can be of great help in the designing a suitable structure, which will lead in achieving enterprise activities. There mainly are 7 steps in the process of organizing. Clear definition of objectives, determining activities, assigning duties, delegating authority, coordinating activities, providing physical facilities and right environment, establishment of a structural relationship for overall control. These are the main 7 steps in the process of organizing. We will try to clarify each of them. Clear definition of objectives. The first step in developing an organizational structure is to lay down its objectives in very clear terms. This will help in determining the type stability, and basic characteristics of the organization. In fact, organization activities are detailed in terms of objective to be achieved. Determining Step number 2, determining activities. In order to achieve the objectives of the enterprise, certain activities are necessary. The activities will depend upon the nature and size of the enterprise. For example, a manufacturing concern will have production, marketing, and other activities. There is no production activity in retail establishment. Each major activity is divided into smaller parts. For instance, production activity may be further divided into purchasing of material, plant layout, quality control, repairs and maintenance, production research, etc. Assigning duties. The individual groups of activities are then allotted to different individuals according to their ability and attitude. The responsibility of every individual should be defined clearly to avoid duplication and overlapping of efforts. Each person is given a specific job switched to him, and he is made responsible for its execution. Right man is put in the right job. This is very announced statement. Right man to the right job. Step number 4, delegating authority. Every individual is given the authority necessary to perform the assigned activity effectively. By authority we mean power to take decisions, issue instruction, guiding the subordinates, supervise and control them. Authority delegated to a person should commensurate with his responsibility. An individual cannot perform his job without the necessary authority or power. Authority follows from top to bottom and responsibility from bottom to top. Step number 5, coordinating activities. The activities and effort of different individuals are then synchronized Such coordination is necessary to ensure effective performance of specialized functions. Interrelationship between different jobs and individuals are clearly defined so that everybody knows from whom he has to take orders and to whom he is answerable. Providing fiscal facilities and right environment. The success of an organization depends upon what? Depends upon the provision of proper fiscal facilities and right environment. Whereas it is important to have right persons on right jobs. It is equally important to have right working environment. This is necessary for smooth running and prosperity of the enterprise. Establishment of structural relationship for overall control. It is very essential to establish well-defined, clear-cut structural relationship among individuals and groups. This will ensure overall control over the working of all departments and coordinated direction towards the achievement of predetermined goals of business. It's thus clear from the foregoing analysis that organization provides a structural framework of duties and responsibilities. It not only establishes authority relationship but also provides a system of communication. The various processes of organization explained above are technically performed through departmentation, delegation of authority, and fixation of responsibility. C. Decentralization of authority subject to central control through centralization of decision making. The various processes of organization explained above are technically performed through departmentation. Number one, this is very required. Delegation of authority and fixation of responsibilities. Decentralization of authority subject to central control through centralization of decision making. This is a sum of above mentioned technically formulation or technical formulation. Objectives of organization. Why should business enterprise organize itself? Why? Why we need to organize our enterprise? The answer to this question bring out brings out its objectives. Objectives of a business organization are distinguished from the objective of social organization. Every economic activity which is deliberately done has some purpose. When a group of people assemble without any planned aim or purpose, it is not an organization, but just a mob. But when, for instance, they are invited to participate in a conference, an element of purpose has been introduced. A purpose refers to commitment to desired future. Objective and purposes generally are interchangeable. Chair. So we will make stress on highlighting the objectives of organization. Objective of organization are cornerstone of the function of organizing. That's why we assume these are very required contents, and it must attract your attention. We listed here 5 objectives of organizing. So we selected 5 main objectives of organizing. 1. Effective management of enterprise. 2. Maximum production at minimum cost. 3. Sustained growth and diversification. 4. Cooperation of employees. 5. Discharging social responsibility. This we can consider them are the main objectives. Let's see what stands behind the first objective: effective management of enterprise. Effective management largely depends upon effective organization. It is the effective organization which ensures proper balance between authority and responsibility. It achieves a clear line of communication and defines the areas of work. It is an organization which allows the top management to concentrate on overall planning and supervision, leaving the routine work for the lower level of administration. It saves the entire enterprise from autism, overlapping, and inefficiency. Maximum production at maximum production at low costs. The activities are allotted according to the principle of division of labor. The efficient system of organization encourages every employee to make his best contribution to raising out. The increase in output and control of wasteful expenditure helps to decrease the cost of production. The profitability of the concern will also go up. So here we would like to prove the interrelationship between the quantity of production and the cost. Objective 3: sustained growth and diversification. A business enterprise should be a growing organism. With the passage of time, an enterprise must expand its activities. It should also aim at diversification of products and market. A static business soon grows, stall and get out of run. It should grow from a small scale concern to a medium scale one, and from medium scale concern to large scale one. Organization plays an important role in this respect. Execution of policies in an organized manner builds the necessary capacity and confidence in undertaking bigger activities. Cooperation of employees. The organizational structure will succeed only if employees cooperate in the work. The employees learn working in closer cooperation of others. The management introduces various incentive schemes and gives monetary and other benefits to employees so that they work in a team spirit. Discharging social responsibility. Maximizing of profit, no doubt, it is a motive of every business. Without profit, no business can exist. But business is a part of parcel of society at large. It cannot survive long by exploiting consumers and society. It has to serve the society by providing it with good of good quality at reasonable price. It has to ensure smooth supply of goods as per the needs of consumers. The service motto cannot be realized without a well-knit organizational structure. So, to discharge social application is an important objective of building up sound organization. The purpose of sound organization is to establish an activity authority environment in which people can perform most effectively, to make group action efficient and effective by providing centers for decision making and a system of communication to effectively coordinate individual efforts towards group goals, to create relationships which minimize friction, focus on the objectives, closely define the responsibilities of all parts and facilitate the attainment of the objectives, to subdivide the management process by which plans are translated into action so as to make management most effective. Thus, to sum up, we can say that organization is a process by which the manager brings order out of chaos, removes conflict between people over work or responsibility, and establishes an environment suitable for team work. The purpose of sound organization is to establish an activity authority environment in which people can be performed most effectively. This we repeat it. To make group action efficient and effective by providing centers for decision making and a system of communication to effectively coordinate individual efforts towards group goals, to create relationships which minimize friction, focus on the objective, closely define the responsibility of all parts, to subdivide the management process by which plans are translated into action so as to make management most effective. Principles of organization. Effective and efficient working of any organization depends on how the managerial function of organization is being performed. The function of an organization can be carried effectively with the help of under-mentioned principles: division of work, attention to objectives, span of management, unity of command, flexibility, proper balance, management by exception, decentralization, departmentation, efficiency, scholar principle, unity of direction, continuity, coordination, authority, and responsibility. Is around 15 objectives. We will try briefly to highlight each of them. Okay, division of work. While structuring organization, division of work at the every outset should be considered as the basis of efficiency. It is an established fact that group of individuals can secure better results by having division of work. Therefore, while designing the organization, we should aim at making suitable grouping of activities. This is also called the principle of specialization. Number 2, attention of objective. An organization is a mechanism to accomplish certain goals or objectives. The objectives of an organization play an important role in determining the type of structure which should be developed. Clearly defined objectives facilitate grouping of activities, delegation of authority, and consequently effective coordination. Span of management. Span of management also refers to span of control, signifying the number of subordinates reporting directly to any executive. It is an established fact that larger the number of subordinates reporting directly to the executive, the more difficult it tends to be for him to supervise and coordinate effectively. The important principle of management should also be kept in mind. Unity of command. Organization structure should also be designed in such a way that there exists unity of command in the sense that a single leader is the ultimate source of authority. This facilitates consistency in directing, coordinating, and controlling to achieve the end objectives. Flexibility. While designing the organization, it should be kept in mind that organizational structure should not be regarded as static. Every organization is a living entity in a living environment which is fast changing. As such, there must be sufficient room for changing and modifying the structure in the light of environment change, so that the ultimate objectives of the organization is achieved. Proper balance. It is important to keep various segments or departments of an organization in balance. The problem of balance basically arises when an activity or a department is further divided and subdivided into smaller segments. the problem of balancing also crops up with the growing of any organization in its size and functioning. Management by exception. It is a fundamental principle that makes any organization effective in its true sense. This principle signifies that problems of unusual nature only should be referred upward and decided by higher level executives in the managerial hierarchy, whereas the routine problems should be passed on to lower levels and resolved there. Application of these principles as such certainly required adhering to the principle of delegation of authority. The principle of exception is thus of significant practical utility and applies to all levels in the organization structure. Decentralization. This principle is of great significance to big organization. Decentralization implies selective dispersal of authority to help departments and units to run effectively and efficiently without frequent interruption from the top of the enterprise. It requires very careful selection of what decision to push down into the organization, of what to do hold at or near the top, specific policy making to guide the decision making, selection and training of people, and adequate control. Decentralization as such embraces all areas of management and evidently is overwhelming significance in organization structure. Departmentation. Departmentation is the process of grouping activities into units for purposes of administration. In other words, it denotes grouping of related jobs and activities without violating the principle of homogeneity over which an executive had authority to exercise and assert. The main advantage of demarcation are that it enables individual executive to manage his subordinates effectively, since a managerial number of persons are brought under the direct supervision of individual executive. 10. Efficiency. The organization should be able to attain the predetermined objectives at the minimum cost. It is done so, it will satisfy the test of efficiency. From the point of view of an individual, a good organization should provide the maximum work satisfaction. Similarly, from the social point of view, an organization will be efficient when it contributes the maximum towards the welfare of the society. Scalar principle. Scalar chain refers to the vertical placement of superiors starting from the chief executive at the top through the middle level to supervisory level at the bottom. Proper scalar chain or line of command is prerequisite for effective organization. Unity of direction. This means that each group of activities having the same objectives should have one plan and one head. There should be one plan or program for each segment of work, which is to be carried under the control and supervision of one head or superior. If different plans or policies are followed in one department by the subordinates, confusion is bound to occur. Continuity. The forms of organization structure should be such which is able to serve the enterprise to attain its objective for a long period of time. Coordination. The principle of coordination underlying there should be proper liaison and cooperation between different departments and units of work. Unity of effort for the accomplishment of desired objective is the main aim of organization. This can be achieved through the principle of coordination. Authority and responsibility. Authority should be commensurate with responsibility. While assigning the responsibility, authority should also be assigned. If authority is not granted, the subordinates cannot discharge their responsibility properly. Advantages of organizing. The primary duty of management is to achieve the objectives of the enterprise. The objectives may be social, economic, political, or religious. Proper organization of men, materials, money and equipment is necessary. Organization is the mechanism through which management directs, coordinates, and controls the business. A sound organization offers the following advantages, which summarizes its importance. Enhancement of managerial efficiency. A sound organization brings a proper coordination among various factors of production and leads to their optimum utilization. It avoids confusion, duplication, and delays in work. It motivates a worker by proper division of work and labor. It reduces the workload of executives by delegation authority. Advantage number 2, growth, expansion, and diversification. Organization provides the framework within which an enterprise can expand and grow. Through organization, management can multiply its strengths. In a good organization, the money and effort spent on difficult activities are in proportion to their contributions. It is through proper organization setup that many firms have grown from humble beginning to a giant size. Specialization. A sound organization structure provides the benefits of specialization. Various activities are allocated between different individuals according to their qualification, experience, and attitude. It increases their efficiency. Systematic organization of activities helps to secure economics and minimize cost. Adoption of new technology. A properly designed and well-balanced organization permits prompt adoption and optimum use of technological improvements. It has the capacity to absorb change in the environment of business and to provide a suitable reaction to such change. A good organization helps in the development of new and improved means of doing things. Coordination. Organization facilitates coordination of diverse activities. Different functions are welded together to accomplish the desired objectives. Clear lines of authority and responsibility between various positions ensure mutual cooperation and harmony in the enterprise. A good organization enables people to work with team spirit. Training and development. By delegating authority to lower levels, training and development of future executives is made possible. A good organization puts right man at the right job and provides them right training and managerial development programs. By appointing employees in different departments, assigning them different jobs, their training needs can be ascertained. Creativity, initiative, and innovation. A good organization encourages initiative and creative thinking. Employees are motivated to break new grounds and try unconventional methods. A sound organization offers a scope for recognition of merit followed by financial incentives to the personnel showing creativity. Check on corrupt practices. A weak and unsound organization is source of corruption and inefficiencies. Well organized, well defined, disciplined, and sound organizations boost the moral and motivation of workers. It develops a feeling of involvement, belongingness, devotion, honesty, and sincerity among employees. It prevents corruption, inefficiencies, and wastage in an enterprise. Proper weightage to all activities. A sound organization divides the entire enterprise into different departments, sections, and subsections according to the functions to be performed by them. Each function of an enterprise has got its own importance. Emphasis is given according to their relative importance. Funds and manpower is allocated to their relative importance. Better human relation. Human beings involved in an organization are only dynamic element of organization. A dedicated and satisfied group of persons proves an asset to any establishment. An organization built on sound principles helps harmony in human relations. With properly defined authority, responsibility, and accountability, different persons enjoy job satisfaction. Organization consists of human beings and their satisfaction helps in improving human relation. Thus, organization is the foundation of management. Sound organization is indispensable means for efficient management and better business performance. It not only facilitates efficient administration, but also encourages growth and diversification. It provides for optimum use of new technology. It stimulates innovation and creativity. Formal and informal organizations. Formal organizations refer to the structure of relationship deliberately built up by the top management to realize the objectives. In this form, instructions, responsibilities, authority, accountability, lines of command, and position and authority are clearly defined and declared. Each person is aware of his duties and authorities. Every subordinate is expected to obey his supervisor in the formal chain of command. Each individual is fitted in the organization like a cog in the machine. It is designed after careful identification, classification, and assignment of business activities. So it is conscious creation of relationship. Informal organization refers to the network of personal and social relationship which arise spontaneously when people working together interact on personal likes and prejudices. Such relations are not created by the top management and they are not recognized formally. The informal groups sometimes run parallel to the formal ones. Informal relations are not portrayed on organization chart and manuals. An informal organization provides an opportunity to workers to come close to each other, develop a feeling of cooperation and coordination among themselves. This table shows using various elements to compare between formal and informal organization. The elements or basics of comparison are formation and basis, nature, setup, emphasis, authority, existence, rationality, and division. So based on the element of formation, formal organization is deliberately created by management. It is the result of conscious and deliberate effort involving a delegation of authority. On the other hand, informal organization arises spontaneously and no conscious effort are made to create it. It takes place on the basis of relationship, culture, occupation, and on personal interest. No delegation authority is essential in informal organization. Basis. A formal organization is stable, unpredictable, and it cannot be changed according to the whims or fantasies of people. But an informal organization is neither stable nor predictable. Setup. A formal organization is a system of well-defined relationships with a definite authority assigned to every individual. It follows predetermined lines of communication. On the contrary, an informal organization has no definite forms and there are no definite rules as to who is to report to whom. Even a low-placed employee may have an informal relationship with an officer far above him in the formal hierarchy. Emphasis. In a formal organization, the main emphasis is placed on authority and function. In an informal organization, the stress is on people and their relationships. Authority. Formal organization is attached to a position and it follows from top to bottom. Informal authority is attached to person and it follows easier downwards or horizontally. Existence. A formal organization exists independently of the informal groups that are formed within it, but an informal organization exists within the framework of a formal structure. Rationality. A formal organization operates on logic rather than on sentiments or emotion. All activities follows a predetermined course. As an association between like-minded people, an informal organization has little rationality behind it. In An informal organization activities are influenced by emotion and sentiments of its members. Division. Formal organization can be shown in an organization chart or a manual, but an informal organization cannot be depicted in the chart or manual of the enterprise. Forms of organization structure. Organization requires the creation of a structural relationship among different departments and the individuals working there for the accomplishment of desired goal. The establishment of formal relationship among the individuals working in the organization is very important to make clear the lines of authority in the organization and to coordinate the efforts of different individuals in an efficient manner. In order to organize the effort of individuals, any of the following types of organization structure may be set up: line organization, line and staff organization, functional organization, committee organization, project organization, and matrix organization. Line organization. The line organization represents a structure in a direct vertical relationship through which authority follows. It is a symbol set from one of organization structure and is also known as a scholar or military organization. Under this, the line of authority follows vertically downward from top to bottom throughout the organization. The quantum of authority is highest at the top and reduces at each successive level down the hierarchy. Every person in the organization is in the direct chain of command. In line organization, the line of authority consists of an interrupted series of authority steps and forms of hierarchical arrangement. The line authority not only becomes the avenue of command to operating personnel, but also provides a channel of communication, coordination, and accountability in enterprise. Advantages of line organization. It is very easy to establish line organization and it can be easily understood by the employees. It facilitates unity of command and thus conforms to the scholar principle of organization. There is a clear-cut identification of authority and responsibility relationship. It ensures excellent discipline in the enterprise because every individual knows to whom he is responsible. It facilitates prompt decision making because there is definite authority at every level. Disadvantage of line organization. With growth, the line organization make the superiors too overloaded with the work. If the executive try to keep up with every activity, they are bogged down in myriad details and are unable to pay proper attention to each one. It will harm their effectiveness. There is concentration of authority at the top. If the top executives are not capable, the enterprise will not be successful. Line organization is not suitable to big organization because it does not provide specialists in the structure. There is partially no communication from bottom upwards because of concentration of authority at higher level. Line and staff organization. The line executive here is often described as individual who stands in primary chain of command and is directly concerned with the accomplishment of primary objectives. Line organization provides structure and a channel for the flow of communication through a scalar chain of authority. Line executives are generalists and do not possess specialized knowledge, which is a must to tackle complicated problems. With a view to give specialist aid to line executives, staff positions are created throughout the structure. Staff elements bring expert and specialized knowledge to provide advice to line managers so that they may discharge their responsibilities. Advantages of line and staff organization: specialized knowledge, reduction of burden, proper weightage, better decision, flexibility, unity of command. The merits of line and staff organization. There is generally a conflict between the line and staff executives. The allocation of duties between the line and staff executive is generally not very clear. Since staffmen are not accountable for the result, they may not be performing their duties well. There is a wide difference between the orientation of the line and staff men. These are the main what we would like to highlight. Recap. The word organization has two common meanings. The first meaning refers to the process of organizing. The second meaning signifies the institution or group which comes into existence as the result of organizing. Got it? The first meaning refers to the process of organizing. As we mentioned previously. The second meaning signifies the institution, university, company, firms, plant, or group which comes into existence as the result of organizing. The organizing process involves a number of steps with consideration of objectives, grouping of activities into departments, deciding which departments will be treated line and which will be related staff, determining the levels at which various types of decision are to be made, determining the levels at which various types of decision are to be made, determining the span of supervision, and setting up a coordination mechanism. There are a number of principles of organizing which should be remembered in the process of organizing. Thank you.